I think that speaking up and speaking out and saying, hey, I need some help with this, I'm struggling, it is probably one of the most difficult things we'll do because it's so counterintuitive. It's so easy. And I guess it's easy to hide in the cave or hide in the bedroom, hide out in the bed, so to speak, or just go through the motions, the daily motions, almost like to literally ignore what is going on at a deeper level. And then again, people have heart attacks or diseases, they're stressed to the max, they're, again, suicidal, depression, anxiety, all the stuff and all the not so fun side effects that come along with that, or the not so fun side effects that come along with the drugs if you take drugs for it too. So it's about speaking up, getting help, seeking help for this, and not seeing that as a weakness. That is bullshit. That truly is BS. It's asking for help is not weakness. Not asking for help is weakness.
Welcome to Your Story Doesn't End Here, the mental health podcast of military and veterans who refuse to be silenced. I'm your host, Rachel, and my mission with this podcast is to be a voice for those who don't have a voice, bring awareness to mental health issues, provide value and solutions, and to change the culture when it comes to mental health within the DoD organizations. Hey everyone, and thank you so much for coming back for another episode of Your Story Doesn't End Here. Today's guest is James Elliot. For over 20 years, James Elliot has been an accomplished and sought out mentor, speaker, and NLP trainer. His neuro-linguistic programming training is second to none, combined with passion to help others overcoming his past challenges, personal growth, and his experience. He is well positioned to help you become the highly effective, unstoppable coach and leader. James teaches these amazing tools and strategies because they've created massive results and transformations in him and the people he teaches. And I got to plug, James has been an incredible person in my life. I recently met him. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and the placement of people in our lives as we meet them is truly meant to be. That's my personal belief. And so James, it is such an honor to have you on the show today. I've had people before speak about NLP, but I am really excited for this conversation because we're really going to focus it on the suicide prevention aspect. But I'm going to pass it off to you first, so you can just share a little bit more about yourself with the audience.
Yeah, for sure. And to your point, like you said, or like things happen for a reason, making my scars, my strengths, my wounds, my wisdom. It was interesting. I asked, the universe for science and for help to really, really grow my business this year. And so I have an Airbnb condo in Toronto that I Airbnb when I'm not traveling and not at the lake. Anyways, the city of Toronto decided that they didn't like how much I Airbnb'd it last year. So they're like, yeah, by the way, you're blocked and banned banned for a year, but once they finally made the decision, which took about half a year. So anyways, I'm banned for a year and a half from a very lucrative income when I Airbnb my place that I'm not even at.
Wow.
So to the theme, things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. All the stuff that's happened to me happens for a reason. I asked for help growing my business, and sure, things got a lot less comfortable when that 50K income per year just evaporated. So again, what I teach people, back to your question, what I teach and train people is to take responsibility and take what happens to us, all the stuff that happens to us, and use it as rocket fuel. Or again, make your scars, your strengths, your wounds, your wisdom, make it rocket fuel for yourself. And crap happens in life. And one of my purposes is to share with people. It's there to make you more resilient. It's there for you, not to you. That way you can be an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing, speaker, communicator, influencer, whatever you want to be, all of our stuff. Now that was a bit of a mundane example. It was a financial example, but it was a very good one. And yes, my business is growing. I am growing because, again, that comfy extra 50K every year I make to spend on whatever is not there anymore. So you're darn right. It was a great kick in the butt. And I think one of my favorite things to help people with is, there's no fault, like I taught you last night. No fault, no blame, no victim, no grief, no shame. No blame, no shame. It's, okay, this happened, and it probably happened for me to make me better. How do I take that and, again, use it as rocket fuel to really, really just launch my freedom ship? How do I use this to make me better? Because things do happen for us, not to us. They happen for us, whatever it is. You and I talked, we've had both lots of trauma in our lives. I've lost several friends to suicide as well. I've had suicidal thoughts myself in the past too. Thank God I'm still here, because now I can teach these tools with people. And again, going back to that theme you mentioned at the start, it's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Mm-hmm. And what happens to us is for us, and really, really can help kick our butts in the right direction when we're procrastinating or fearing or BSing or excusing and as long as we don't get in the victim mentality, in the victim mode, because that will keep us stuck. That will keep us blaming. Again, you blame, you point a finger, there's three fingers pointing back at you or me, right? And so I think we're going to be very, very careful to, well, I mean, being the victim sucks. Yes, you get attention and validation. However, it's a double-edged sword because you will stay stuck and you're going to drive people nuts too. So it's not a good way to have great people in your life. But instead of being the victim from all the crap that happened to us, and I'm not taking away the impact of what has happened to people. I've had horrible stuff. People have had far more horrible stuff that happened to them than me. I've had a lot of horrible stuff too happen. So I'm not taking that away from anyone. And we need to take responsibility and take ownership. Like we were discussing last night, it's like, okay, this happened. This crap happened. Yes, I get it. Let's work on it. Let's blow it out with something like NLP, timeline therapy. Let's blow those things, those beliefs, the learnings, bad learnings to smithereens, and let's take that as our fuel. And how will that help us make an impact with people? How does it help us with our purpose, with our passion? How has that made people more resilient? How has that made me? Oh my goodness, the amount of resilience I have to stuff and you need to. If you want to be wildly successful, you need to have resilience. I mean, people chirp me on my Facebook post sometimes, or on this or on that. You got to have resilience. So all that to say, through all my trials and tribulations, both work, play, relationships, health, and mental and physical, really, I've come to a place now. I've grown so much. I've overcome so much because I've done so much, breakthroughs and training and coaching and work on myself, that now I love helping people, especially people that want to make a massive difference in the world, make a big impact. That's really who lights me up. Yes, making a lot of money is great. Yes, let's make lots of money. Absolutely, let's make lots of money. I think if it comes without a passion or purpose, then it lacks fulfillment. And then all the vices like booze, drugs, sex, rock and roll, all the stuff comes into our lives because of the lack of purpose or fulfillment. It's just like making lots of money. Great, you have lots of money, you can roll around in it. What else are you going to do? Again, not that having a great purpose and great passion, being very fulfilled and having a lot of money, that's a pretty kick-ass thing, especially because then you can give back. So that's what I love to do. Just to tie out your question in a nutshell, I love helping people who want to make a difference. I love calling BS, because we all have it, including myself. I have my mentors too, and helping people get out of that victim story, take responsibility and take ownership of what happened. Not fault, not guilt. No, it's not my fault. There is no fault. I take responsibility. This happened, that stuff happened. Now I take responsibility for what I want in the future. I take ownership for what I want, including cleaning that up and getting past that, getting over that, working on it. It is lifelong. It's not a quick, day or two or three. It's lifelong, and it's taking responsibility for creating what you want in your life. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what I love to help people with, whether I'm teaching or training or speaking. Love to do that. Life's too short to be miserable or stay in victimhood.
Absolutely. And I love that we got right into it with this topic, because there's so many pieces that relate and line up directly with our military audience. And I say this because in my own experience of not living with this mentality that everything happens for a reason, or they changed it, shifted it to everything happens for me.
Yeah.
I missed out on a lot of beauty, and I spent 6.5 years in the military. Anyone listening to this, some people, especially, the generation right before me, I'm a millennial. So, what is that? Gen X or something right before me.
Right.
A lot of these people spend 20, 30 plus years in a job field, or, we could really use this example with anything that anyone does repetitively. And if we are not finding the beauty, or even just coming to a neutral place with some of these things, that can lead to this rabbit hole of mental health challenges, or poor mental health, or feeling like I'm really stuck. And, when I talk about the military experience where, I was at a squadron that had toxic leadership, and I worked with a lot of people who were very negative, and that negativity really does spread like a wildfire, especially in a workplace that's very tight knit. And so if we're not having this mentality of everything happens for me, everything happens for a reason, when I reflect back now on my life experiences, even prior to the military, the toxic relationship that I had for 3 years, that, growing up in an environment where I was very, very sheltered, these things that at the time seemed really, really tough and challenging. And so I kind of want to follow this topic a little bit, because I think it's a very important thing to hit on, is understanding that if we can shift our mindset to everything happens for a reason, or everything happens for me, we now get to enjoy the beauty of life and see these things that we might miss out on because we're in this space of
Otherwise.
negativity. So I'm going to let you take it from there.
Correct. And it's a very valid point. Different environments, especially military or even men too. This whole thing about, man can't do this or man can't do that or women can't do this. All the bullshit. By the way, if you need to edit that part out, but all the BS of I'm raw and real. All the BS.
You're good.
Not being able. I say it like it is. I'm pretty real. Of not being able to speak out, or man can't do this, or you can't do this in the military, or this and that. I think that speaking up and speaking out and saying, hey, I need some help with this, I'm struggling, it is probably one of the most difficult things we'll do because it's so counterintuitive. It's so easy. And I guess it's easy to hide in the cave or hide in the bedroom, hide out in the bed, so to speak, or just go through the motions, the daily motions, almost like to literally ignore what is going on a deeper level. And then again, people have heart attacks or diseases, they're stressed to the max, again, suicidal, depression, anxiety, all the stuff and all the not so fun side effects that come along with that, or the not so fun side effects that come along with the drugs if you take drugs for it too. So it's about speaking up, getting help, seeking help for this, and not seeing that as a weakness. That is bullshit. That truly is BS. It's asking for help is not weakness. Not asking for help is weakness, because it takes, as it takes a lot of courage to be open and vulnerable and ask for help and say, hey, this is what's going on. I feel crappy. This is going on in my world. I need some help. I don't feel good. That takes to be open and vulnerable and raw and real and open and show people your wounds. That takes courage. That is not weak. That is for damn sure. So that's okay. End of rant. But it's true. I want people to be able to seek. And if you can't do that with your coworkers, your boss, your friends, your mentors, or whatever, you need a new one, right? And I don't often say you need or you should. However, I would invite you to consider that new ones are needed.
Yeah.
Right. And the right people will listen, will support you, will have your back. They may not give you advice, even if they just listen for you and honor what you're going through. So I think that's a big thing, is asking for help. And I was not always good at that too, especially after being bullied and traumatized and picked on, all the stuff I went through. I was this I don't think like an Iron Man suit or something, or a suit of armor on that no one could get through. It was impenetrable. But I didn't even know myself. I was so one-sided and so blocked up. And this is when my biggest depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts were, because I was just so blocked up and shielded and sheltered, and let alone having a great relationship with a buddy or with a woman for that matter, just so tightly wound and shielded and locked up. It didn't make me happy. And ironically, I was still very vulnerable to what people said to me back. Shields up, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. It was all an act. It was all BS. I'm tough and bland. I was a big boy back then too, working out, and it's all nonsense. Right now, I'm more open and vulnerable than ever. And people can say whatever they want. If they don't like my video or my thing or my course or my who I am or my looks or what, I don't care. And it's such a place of freedom. And I have come to that place by being open and vulnerable. And that has really done a number of things for me. Open, vulnerable, asking for help, sharing my story with others helps others. And that also helps me. Holy crap. This I'm helping others. This crap that I went through, now I get to help others. Wow. That is fulfilling. And that will also help heal you. Wow. The stuff I went through, I get to help others and help them so they don't have to continue going through it. Okay. Got it. It was all worthwhile. And again, taking advantage of that stuff and taking responsibility for what I want to have happen. Not the guilt, the blame, the shame. It's I shoulda, coulda, woulda. No, it's the past. Now, do different things, teach people. I think that's one of the biggest things in the world is a human's purpose is to help others. And again, just it all ties back to suicide and suicide awareness, because if we don't ask, hey, are you okay? Are you seriously, are you okay? If we don't speak up and say, no, I'm not okay, versus, oh yeah, no, I'm good, everything's fine, or don't be a loser and punch each other in the shoulder like when we're younger. Oh, don't be an idiot, don't be whatever. Don't be weak, and and kind of laugh it off, when inside you're like, oh my God, I'm not okay. I wish I could speak up to my friend. And just having that can dramatically change now to being able to talk about really, really deep stuff with my close friends, families, clients too. And on public TV, podcasts, my shows, your shows. And it's very, very freeing and powerful to share stories and just to be open and vulnerable. And that's who people connect with, right? And not this shields up kind of person that, it's a song and dance and, oh, I'm perfect, life's great, I'm perfect, there's nothing wrong with me, you should be like me. There's too much BS in the world now. People don't connect with people like that. So anyways, my big point is just to speak up and speak out. Find some way, some forum to express yourself however it is. There's many ways, write a book, poetry, painting, music, or asking for help, asking friends or finding a group, asking for support, asking for help, taking action, right? Like take action, take life by the horns, get rid of all of this victim stuff and say, how can I heal this? And one of the best ways to heal that, guys, is to help others with the same thing. One of the best ways to heal that. It is really, really cool. So I hope that ties us together, because you're right. Suicide prevention is a very, very important thing, and it needs to be talked about. I think we need to have these conversations about it, and have people be okay to talk about it, and to yell, to cry, to whatever, honestly, to yell, to cry, to whatever, when they need to, and to celebrate that, when instead of saying, well, men can't do this or women can't do that, or don't be a bitch or don't be a baby or whatever. It's all just nonsense, and other people's fear and ego of them not being accepted, not being liked, right? So I hope that ties the last question together for you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's two sides to this that really stood out to me from what you said. I think on one hand, knowing who to go to ask for help, because I think generically in our minds, when we're talking about mental health, and when we say, oh, go seek out help, a lot of people automatically go to talk therapy. That's I think that's probably the number one thing that comes to people's minds, because that has been the thing for generations and generations. Now, what's really cool about the day and age we live in now is we have coaches, there are mentors, there is professional therapy, and some people need that. But, there's other forms of therapy. There's art therapy, there's equine therapy.
Therapy.
Sound therapy. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't have to fit ourselves into one mold. Right. And I get insurance doesn't pay for all forms of therapy always, so that can be a barrier. But even then, there are nonprofits out there. There are groups that are willing to help. So I encourage the listeners to expand your mind, find something that works well for you, try out different modalities. I actually did a whole episode on modalities one time. Cool. Try out different modalities and find what works for you, because it's not always just the talk therapy, and don't give up just because talk therapy doesn't work. The other side that I want to talk about is on the receiving side, because I think people need to be okay with hearing an answer other than good when they ask someone, how are you today? And I think a lot of people just aren't prepared to be on the receiving end and say, oh, how are you today? And someone says, oh, you know what? I'm actually not the greatest today. And something that I want to bring up to you, James, is that I had a friend one time who worked at the dental clinic on the base that I live next to. And one of the questions that everyone asks, I think it was standard question because it's medical, is, are you safe at home? And I would always say, yes, I'm safe at home. So I never got to experience the other side of the equation. But I asked someone that worked at that health clinic one time, I said, what if someone says no? They said, oh, I don't know. We weren't trained for that. So there's that other side of the equation, right? Of understanding how to handle it. Now, not everyone has to be an expert, obviously, but understanding how to answer these questions. So would love to hear your thoughts on that topic that I just brought up.
Yeah. And so I a couple thoughts. First, just to rewind, you're right. I mean, the talk therapy or traditional therapy isn't for everyone. And that's why there's so many other modalities. And that's why I love some of the tools I use and I teach to people. It's working with the subconscious mind, because that's where all learning, all traumas, all memories, all change, all transformation, behaviors, growth, that's where it all is in our 95% of our brain. It's our subconscious mind. So to your point, I tried talk therapy and I got some benefit from it, but the transformational stuff from me wasn't talking. It was going into and not needing to go into the crap too, ironically. There's some really cool stuff, really high-tech stuff, timeline therapy, hypnosis, even my power process as well, to let go of the negative feelings, the self-doubt, imposter syndrome, fear of failure, whatever it might be. Find what works for you. Test all kinds of different things. Test all kinds of different modalities and find what works for you. Take responsibility, even if it's not covered by traditional, which irritates the hell out of me. Someone that's smoked all their life, at least up in Canada, or eating crappy their whole life, destroy their bodies, can get a free surgery worth hundreds of thousands. However, someone with suicidal can't see a coach or certain mentors or whatever, right? So anyways, I'll again get off that soapbox. But again, it's that take responsibility. If I want to have this in my life, if I want to create this in my life, or if I want to get rid of that in my life, then I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to find a way to pay, versus the victim. Oh, I can't afford it. Oh, wham. And I want to be clear that I say this with love, guys. However, I am calling BS, because there's always a way to find a way to pay. And there's always a way with maybe people have sliding scales, or if you refer someone, maybe they'll give you a break for a refer, or sending people their way, or for a reference or something. Where there's a will, there's a way. Even if you're paying full price, full pop, there is a way. I've had lots of people come to me and take my trainings and do it. And I've had lots of people that say, no, can't afford it, whatever. Again, it's what you prioritize. What you pray is I don't know, that expensive Starbucks coffee, or the booze, or that huge TV on the wall, or whatever you're wasting money on. We all waste money on something. The Amazon habit, is that worth it, or is it worth taking that money and spending it on you? Because you're the best, the number one. I mean, I think it was not Elon Musk. Sorry. Oh my goodness. President of Berkshire Hathaway, old guy. Oh my goodness.
Warren Buffett.
Thank you, Warren Buffett. Thank you, Warren Buffett. He said that the greatest investment, he's invested in a lot of things. The greatest investment is in yourself. So spend as much money as you can on yourself versus stuff, is my opinion, or numbing the pain, because you don't have to numb the pain. You don't need vices, expensive crap you don't need when you work on yourself. Anyways, you don't need that stuff to show off to people. Show, look how good I am, love me, like me, I'm cool, appreciate me, because I got this purse or the brand new phone or the whatever you don't need.
Yep.
So that's one thing. So yes, I love different tools. Try different things that resonate with you. These tools resonate with me. That's why I teach NLP and timeline therapy, hypnosis, my power process. That's why I do this. Find what resonates with you, because the standard or the covered or what's always recommended may not be best for you. We're not all, we can't all fit in a box, or us, you may be a square peg and there may be a round hole they're trying to put you in. So find things for you is my first thing. Your second, remind me your second question again, because I did want to address the first one.
Being on the receiving end of things. So being prepared for someone to maybe not say good if you ask them, how are you today?
Yes. Thank you. You're right. Yes. And it's actually very easy. It's very, very, very easy, right? Often people hear, oh, I'm good, or I'm fine. And they're like, well, I don't know what to say. So I'm not going to say, like, I don't think you're good. Or are you really good? Are you actually good? Because I don't think you are. A lot of people don't do that, because like, what the hell do I do if they say, no, my life's in the toilet? What do I do? It's easy. This is the key. It's easy. It's easy. If they know I'm bad or not so good or whatever, okay. What do you need right now? It's easy. What do you need right now? Do you need, Coach James? Do you need Trainer James? Do you need Friend James? Do you need me to listen? Do you want advice? Do you want just someone to vent to? Do you want me to stand there while you yell at a tree? Avoid having someone vent to you. It's bad juju coming at you, bad energy. Vent to a tree or a train or something. They can vent. I'll stand with you. I'll scream at the train with you, or scream at the tree with you. Whatever you want. Do some rage work, pounding, punching bag. I was getting duffel bag, punching bag, whatever it is. What you need right now, what you need. And some people, different times. Today I just need you to listen. Or today I want advice. Today I want to vent. Today I need to go for a run. Today let's go for a walk in the woods and clear my head. It's so easy, guys. What do you need right now? You know what? I just needed to tell someone I'm not okay, and someone to hear me that I'm not. I don't know if I need anything, or I don't need to talk, or maybe we can talk later, or I just need someone to know that I'm not okay. Hey man, I'm here. Do you want you to hug? You need a high five? Do you need to yell and scream together? Do you just need me to say, it's okay to not be okay? I got your back.
I love that.
And it's so easy.
I love that. I think we get so caught up in this mentality that we need to fix people and that we have to give them the solution. And I know I've been there before on the receiving end, where I feel like, oh my God, how do I relate? Because we're always trying to relate to each other as human beings, right? Like I might not have gone through childhood abuse, someone that I worked alongside, right? Maybe they're having a really hard time with it because they're going through therapy. And I think, I don't know if this is just a thing our brains do, but my brain goes to what can I say to make it better? What can I say to fix it? And I don't think people always need that. I think I love that you brought up, ask that person, like, what do you need right now in this moment? Maybe you just need to eat some ice cream and watch some movies. Maybe you just need to go on a walk. Maybe you don't know what you need, but we can't solve people's problems for them. So
no, and fair, especially if they don't want them solved. Right. I learned this, by the way, about women years back, and it was a great revelation. Women often don't want men to fix their problems. They just, because we're fixers by nature. Let's give me some shit. Let's fix it. I want to fix it. We're fixers. I love fixing stuff. One of my love languages. I'm an access service, very handy access service kind of guy. Anyways, love fixing stuff. But I realized also that a lot of times women just want to be heard and seen and listened to. And I can be just, oh, that's all I have to do. That sounds pretty easy. And so I learned that too about women, but a lot of people just, again, want to be heard. It's actually a rookie mistake, I guess, a rookie mistake whether of a coach or advisor or a counselor, whatever, to give advice or give too much advice, because most people don't want it. Most people won't follow your advice unless they're the ones that say, you know, I really need to do this, or I know I've done to do this for a while. I really have wanted to do that. Great. Then they're enrolled to do it versus, you know, Rachel, you should do this and this and this. And sure, if people ask me for advice, it's all right, James, I do want advice today. Right. Here's what I would do, or here's what I think in your case it would be best. But again, you have an easy job. You know, it's like, what do you need? And you know, are you okay? What do you need right now? And often it's just listening. Often it's being there, listening, going for a walk, talking to them, whatever it is. Just them knowing someone cares. Them they can talk to someone. Even just someone knowing, like I said earlier, they're not okay. It's awesome. It's super easy. And to your point, you know, when I first started coaching too, it's like, yep, here's all kinds of advice for you.
Yep. Yeah. So alluding to your point here of, you know, people having, basically putting the ball in the person's court that needs advice or needs help or whatever have you. I think a lot of these people that are entering the military enter the military when they're very young, and they might not have enough life experience to really even know what it is that they need. But I also understand that there's a side of the equation where there's a lot of changes happening. And with those external changes happening, there's a lot of chemical changes happening in the brain. What advice, I'm gonna ask you for advice now. What advice would you give to someone who is maybe younger and there's just a lot of changes being thrown at them and they're very much in a state of overwhelm? Is there a grounding technique or something that you would recommend for someone to just get themselves to more of a level-headed state to where they can, okay, let's focus on what's happening right now, you know, and get to that place where they can now start to put together the puzzle pieces of, okay, everything happens for a reason, all that, because it's hard to do when we're in this heightened state with cortisol just flowing through our body. So
is it ever? Yep. Is it ever? So it's interesting that you asked that too. And there is, I'll remind you, I'll give you something for head trash. The head trash, the little gremlins is rah, 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 the catastrophizing. I'll give you something, a pattern interrupt, and which we talked about last night. I'll give that, but in a moment, however. So for now, some of the best grounding techniques I have found. One is called 4-7-8 breathing, and it's inhaling over 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and you hold it for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you exhale over 8 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You hear my voice changing. 2, 1. Do that 3 to 5 times. Wow, is it ever? Look, my speech is slowed and I'm more, my voice is deeper. Such a great grounding technique as well. Such a great grounding technique also. There's a couple others as well. You could look at yoga nidra or non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. I've actually come out with a meditation, my own 20-minute meditation for that as well. You can do it in the morning, in the middle of the day, just after waking up. If you're not feeling refreshed, just for bed, it can be used anytime. So non-sleep, if you want to go search non-sleep deep rest, James R. Elliot, Elliot. You'll find that on YouTube as well, which is great. So that's a second one also. You could do Wim Hof breathing, which will give you more energy, but also help get you out of the head and stop that catastrophizing. Something else that I really, really enjoy, because usually if we're in our heads and overwhelmed and anxious, we need, there's too much in our head. So write it down, either a list of things you need to do, get it out of your head, your thoughts, journal things, get all this stuff out of your head, write down all your fears, worries, and concerns. And you'll find that when you write down all your fears, worries, concerns, stuff you have to do, stuff that overwhelms you, you will find that it kind of takes it out of you, and the overwhelm just brings it down. A walk in the woods is great. Essential oils are great. Your favorite smells are great as well. I love different oils, and essential oils can just bring it down too. One thing too for the head trash, or just the catastrophizing. Oh my God, this is gonna be that, and that's gonna happen. They're gonna hate me, and that's gonna happen, and I'll get divorced, or I'll lose my this and that, I'll lose all my friends, or whatever. I'll lose my job. All the catastrophizing that humans do in our head, and we're genetically wired to do this to protect us. All the stuff that goes on in our head there's a very, very easy way to stop it. And it's literally by saying, stop it, to either the catastrophizing, or to that the little gremlin that's like, oh, you're not good enough, or oh, they're not going to like you, or oh, you're going to get this, and you're going to be this, and this is going to happen, or oh, blah, 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 blah. Or this, the monkey mind. It's either stop it or shut up. And it's called a pattern interrupt in NLP. It works very well, very fast. We need to stop that head trash. On average, people have 65 to 80,000 thoughts in their head a day. A great majority of them are negative thoughts. Again, it's how our brain works. Our brain needs to be primed and wired to look for danger. That's what kept us alive during like our caveman days. And now, man, actual danger in our lives is pretty low. However, that's why most news is negative. Our brains are primed to look for negative stuff, dangerous stuff, bad stuff. That's why negative news sells so much. People are like, oh my God. If everything was like just on the news, puppies and sunshine and lollipops and rainbows, people wouldn't pay attention. They wouldn't get the attention, so they could sell the ads, so they could make the money. So anyways, they take advantage of a natural phenomenon in our brain. So again, we need to stop that head trash, stop the catastrophizing, stop that gremlin from saying, oh, it's not going to work, or you're going to lose all your money, or blah, blah, blah. Shut up or stop it. And it needs to be assertive. It can't be a weak ass, oh, stop it, or don't do that. It's got to be an assertive stop it, and sometimes over and over again. And the good thing, the more you do that, the more your brain will automatically stop that in the future. And usually the stuff that goes on in your head becomes positive stuff. It may take some time. Just keep on that, keep doing that. Stop it or shut up to that little voice in the head, the gremlin, the devil, the monkey, or the catastrophizing. That's another tool as well that will also help. Again, meditation as well will work well. You can also, in a non-sleep deep rest, it's just doing a body scan, just taking a deep breath. And again, I talk about this in our non-sleep deep rest program. It's just breathe and just pay attention to yourself, your breathing, your heartbeat. Your heart's beating. Notice your heartbeat. Notice any sensations in your body, tingling sensations, heating or cooling, and notice all these things. It's a great way to just get out of the overwhelm, because we're paying attention to too many things at once, and we're overwhelmed with so much going on. It's like when Superman came to Earth in the movie Superman. His parents taught him how to kind of control that. One of the ways is just by being with ourselves and pay attention to are the sensations in us all. What is the feeling of your butt on the chair, or your back on your chair, or your back on your bed? What does that sensation feel like? You're doing that. Okay, my back on the chair. You're not thinking about all the crazy making that's going on, or the fear, or the worry, or the overwhelm, the anxiety, the depression, the panic, all this stuff. So one last thing is you can repeat in your head is a mantra. I'm safe. It's safe to relax. Or I'm safe. It's okay to relax, because often our brain forgets we're safe. Again, it's standing on guard for you, right? So I'm safe. It's okay to relax. It's safe to relax. Something around that. I'm okay. I'm safe. It's safe to relax. I can relax. Something like that. And that mantra in your head is like, oh, okay. It's bringing it down. So there's a few tools in the toolbox.
Love it. And one thing that I did too, it kind of goes along the lines of this. When I was in labor with my daughter, one thing that I did as we were driving to the birthing center was just like describing things in detail that I saw. So, if I saw a red sign, a red stop sign, I would just in my head describe that in detail. And so I think the point here is that just distracting our brain and focusing it on something, whatever that may be, just to interrupt that craziness in our head, because it really is just, a bunch of craziness in our head. The world is still moving on. Time doesn't stop, and sometimes it's okay to take a step back and just pause for a second. So, so grateful that you brought up those tips. I hope that people use them, and understanding, if you're listening to this episode, that suicide prevention, it really is a multifaceted thing, but it is so simple at the end of the day. It's taking care of ourselves, and it's taking care of those people around us. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to be heard. We want community. We want to feel important. I mean, there's all these things,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so you gave some really phenomenal tips, James, and I'm so appreciative of you coming
My
on the
pleasure.
show today. I know there's so much more to you and what you do. So where can people find you if they want to reach out, follow you, or work with you?
Sounds good. Sounds good. One of the best places is unleashyourpower.com. You can also search for me on YouTube or TikTok. TikTok is just James R for Robert Elliot, Elliot, the Scottish Elliot, or just James R. Elliot, Unleash Your Power on YouTube. You'll find me on my shorts and longs there, which is, it's kind of funny that I can say, you'll find my shorts and longs there. 10 years ago, no one would know what the hell I'm talking about. You go look at my shorts and longs. Um, Anyways, that's one of the best ways to do it. Unleashyourpower.com. Come and have a conversation. Happy to chat. I also have a bi-weekly event that happens as well. Think of it as a mastermind and a master class. It's free of charge currently. And just a way to get feedback, bring things up that aren't working, that when things aren't okay for you. It's a way to bring that up. So, Latido, that's some thoughts as well. And I suppose just I want everyone to realize that we're all going through crap. No one is perfect. We're all going through crazy crap in our lives, especially the last 3, 4, 5 years. We're all going through crazy making. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. And so again, reach out because someone else is inevitably going through. I talked to one of my best friends. It's like, you know what? I can't really drink red wine anymore. I get literally depressed for like 2, 3 days when I drink red wine, alcohol at all, especially red wine. He's like, dude, me too. And then I talked to another friend. He's like, me too. I'm like, holy crap, we're onto something. So now, I love a good drink of scotch now and then, or a nice glass of red wine with a fine dinner. That being said, that may not be good for me long term. So once in a blue or purple or pink moon, because again, I think I should enjoy life too. But again, if that does that to me, by the way, one thing I learned becoming a nutritionist years ago, because I did that too, that depression is often trauma related, especially military, but it's also either compounded, exacerbated, or even just caused by anxiety, depression, stress, often caused by food sensitivities and delayed food allergies. It's not going to kill us, but it's going to mess us up. And often we're not tested for those allergies. If you're going to die and you're allergic to peanut butter, sure, those are tested for, but a lot of food sensitivities, aka intolerances, are not tested for. And again, there's a number of foods that will make me anxious and depressed if I eat them. Otherwise, I'm a great happy-go-lucky guy. So also look at your eating, change your eating, stop eating anything processed, stop eating, dairy and wheat and grains for a few weeks and see if that improves your mood. In fact, I promise you it'll do at least something to your mood, your energy, your outlook in life, the degree of calmness you have as well. Vegetables, fruits, nuts, legumes, beans, meats, fish, all that kind of stuff. Great. Try to avoid, do a test for yourself. You'll find you lose some weight as well, by the way, but avoid things like any processed food, anything comes in a box, and grains, any grains at all, even rice I would avoid for a while and see what happens. You'll even lose some weight. So a bonus there too.
Yeah. Yeah. And realistically, the military diet is not conducive to good mental health. It's just,
Fair.
it is what it is. A lot
Fair.
of members of the military are eating, at least my diet was a lot of vending machine snacks. There's
Fair.
a
Fair.
Wendy's on the base. So it's just easy. It's easy to go down the road and grab some fast food and go back to work or order a pizza or sometimes not eat at all, which,
Yeah.
that's not, fasting is good for you, but it's not always good for you to not
True.
eat for long periods of time and just
Mm.
like slam energy drinks. And so there's actually there's a wellness clinic near where I'm at in Washington that does these gut mappings. And so I encourage, if you're listening, because you brought this up, see if there is, I think there's online ones too, like kits you can order these days. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. But if there's a naturopath or someone around, Washington's really big on naturopaths. Not all states are, not all areas of the world are, but I would encourage people to do that. It's something that I actually want to do myself too, is get this gut map, because what's cool is now you can see it on paper. You can see what your levels of like serotonin and GABA and all the stuff in your gut are on paper. And I think when we make it tangible like that and we see the connection of, maybe it's not that I just need to take another antidepressant. Maybe it's that what I was taking, one thing that this clinician had told me is that a lot of the proton pump inhibitors, so a
Yeah.
lot of the like the antacids and stuff
Yeah.
actually kill the gut. And think about how
Yes.
many people take antacids because it
All
has
day,
become
all.
such a regular. I mean, my mom was popping Tums like crazy
Yeah.
when she was pregnant, you know? They've become such a regular part of our society. So I'm so glad you brought that up because, yeah, it is. There's so much more to it than just the side of things after we're already depressed, right? What
Yeah.
can we do to prevent? Well, we can take care of our bodies, we can take care of each other, we can make sure that we're nourishing ourselves. And it's a little more difficult these days because food is nutritionally bankrupt, but there's still
Especially in
places,
North
there's
America.
farmers markets. Yeah, I mean, there's places where you can still get very good food.
True.
You
Yeah.
can learn to grow
Good
your own
prices.
food, and you know what, in gardening you might find a hobby that helps your mental health too. I mean,
True.
multiple faceted things here. So thank you so much for sharing where people can
Very
find
welcome.
you. I will make sure to post all those links. Make sure that you don't confuse James's program with Unleash the Power Within, which is also a great program.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair.
Tony
Fair.
Robbins. but
Unleash your power.
right,
That's
right.
me.
What
That's me.
incredible. I'm actually going through James's training right now. I've been to one of his masterminds. Just a great environment to be a part of. And I want to say for anyone listening that choosing to invest in and take care of yourself is probably one of the hardest decisions to make if you're not used to doing that.
Fair.
And
Fair.
so I encourage you to expand your mind. And if you've never invested in yourself before or done something for you to just learn more, try it out one time. Worst that happens is, you get more knowledge and
Yep.
that benefits you, right?
No failure, just learnings, just
Exactly.
lessons.
Exactly. And, I think a lot of people have this fear of putting money into themselves because they're like, oh, well, I could do this instead. Oh, I'm fine. But, if you're not happy, if you're not
If
living
you're
your
not
best
fine,
version of you, and even if you are, we always want to be growing. If we're not growing, we're dying. So,
correct. And if
yeah,
you want to make some serious money in life, have a lot of fun. If I want to, I need to grow, right? I need to grow. And to your point, it's investing in oneself. It's interesting. It's not tangible. It's not like, okay, I give whatever. These things are ridiculous now. $1,600 for a new Samsung.
he's
Why?
holding up his phone for
It's
those
it's
of you
it's
listening.
bananas. But it's interesting. But investing in this, okay, I get this thing when I'm done, or this mouse, I get this when I give money. It can be difficult and abstract because I pay money. I'm not getting anything per se, but I am getting something amazing. So, like I said, I invest in it, even if it costs your own money, even if it takes your own money. You'll actually, by the way, have the most shifts and changes when you invest your own money versus trying to find something that's covered by something or someone because it's an investment. You are investing. You're taking your commitment. Excuse me. You're making commitment.
Yeah.
I promise you probably get more results out of things you pay for than stuff that's free. So food for thought on that. And you mentioned the word fine. I love that word. And if I could share an acronym, a little crass, crude acronym, but it's great. And I mean, you guys in the military probably know this anyways. But it's an acronym that, people say, oh, I'm fine, it's fine. Fine is not fine. You know what fine stands for? Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotionally unavailable. FINE. And I think they do use that in the military, right? Or FUBAR. There's FUBAR too.
There's a lot of acronyms in the
There's a lot of them.
military.
Like, but fine is not fine. Like someone says they're fine, I can guarantee you they're not fine. Everything's fine. No, they're not going to say they're fine. They'll be, yeah, it's good or great or awesome or this happened, that happened. So if someone tells you they're fine, ask how are you really? How are you really doing? And then that powerful. The only question you need to really ask is, what do you need right now? What do you need right now?
Love that.
Anyways,
All right, James. Well,
pleasure to
last
serve.
question for you.
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
question. Any last words or pieces of advice that you want to leave the listeners with today?
I would echo and repeat your thoughts of find something, testing, see what works with you. Maybe it's a walk in nature. Maybe it's cold. Oh my goodness, I love cold showers. Holy moly, will that ever snap you out of whatever you want and wake you up and have you feeling amazing? I'm going to go for a swim in a minute. Cold showers, amazing. Find something that works, honestly, right? Find something that works, realizing it's okay to not be okay. And people look at it with a whole different view these days. And if someone thinks you're weak for speaking up or asking for help, and then they're not your friend. They're not people you want to hang out with anyways. Go hang out with the top 5 to 10 people you want to be like. And make sure that's the top 5, 10 people you hang out with are people you want to be like and that support you. Otherwise, you're not growing. and it'll be very, very hard to grow. If you want to be a millionaire or be fit, hanging with fit people or millionaires or successful people, because by default that will become you. So if you don't have a circle, if I don't have a circle that allows me to tell people when I'm not fine, talk about it, talk through it, ask for help, you need a new circle. And I'll leave you with that. And just remember, we're all dealing with all kinds of shit. We often feel so alone, and oh, me, and it's this, and I'm not going through, and the world's ending. You're not alone. So many people are suffering right now. They may actually need your help, and you may find a way to heal yourself, like I did, through helping others. It is incredible. Officially, or just, hey, do you need help? You will very well find a way to heal yourself and grow when you talk to others. And you realize we're all wonderfully screwed up as well. It's not a competition. So that'll make you feel better too, hopefully. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for this, Rachel. Anyone looking into getting trained in some of these tools, having a kick-ass mega breakthrough, and doing it in a very powerful group setting, unleashyourpower.com or unleashyourpower.com/training. On YouTube, James R. Elliot, Unleash Your Power, or just James R. Elliot, ELLIOT, 1T on TikTok. Appreciate you letting me be here, and thanks for letting me serve.
Thank you for taking the time to listen in today. With your support, we are able to increase awareness of the mental health issues affecting service members and veterans today, with the goal of creating positive change. If you got value from this episode, please take 30 seconds to subscribe and share this episode within your own network. Until next time, remember, your story matters, your mental health matters, and your story doesn't end here.